So number one, to start it off, I'm just going to ask you a simple question. What is the story behind you and how did you end up working in carpentry?
Well, it's actually a long and twisted tale, and I'll try to make it as brief as possible. But I went to college and got a degree in economics, and upon graduation I ended up working for Digital Equipment Corporation, which is a computer company down in Massachusetts. And it was a classic industrial job, and I never really felt satisfied with it. And through a set of circumstances, a friend of mine who was a cabinet maker invited me to work on a job that he was working with in Boston. He was working for another gentleman. And I came in just to do some help, and I really, really liked it. And it was the first time in my life that I had any appreciation for a vocational kind of a job. And the thing that I liked the most about it, I just found it to be very satisfying because I was doing something. I had a product at the end of the day. And I did not have that kind of job satisfaction when I worked in industry. I would work there for the day, and I'd come home and I would really question just exactly what I was doing. So there was no satisfaction. So that's how I found it. You know, kind of as I say, it wasn't anything that I grew into. It wasn't a family business. I did not have the benefit of the vocational program when I was in high school, which was by choice. And I look back now and realize it wasn't a very good choice. And if it wasn't for this roommate of mine who was in the trades and introduced me to it, I probably would still be in industry today.
Sounds like one heck of an adventure. On to question number two. For question number two, I have to ask you, what are the main benefits of working with carpentry?
Well, I just touched upon it, a minute ago, that one of the nice things about carpentry, and any trade for that matter, is that you do something substantial, that you build something. When you walk away from your day of work, you can appreciate what you've accomplished. It's tangible, it's there. And I find that to be immensely satisfying. So for me, that was the biggest plus. And then there was another, it's kind of an aside, that I felt like when I worked in industry, I was two people. I led a personal life and I led a professional life, and they were kind of separate. And I wasn't really the same individual. In construction, I'm the same guy. You know, what I do professionally reflects who I am personally. And there's no airs that you have to put on. There's no performance that you have to put on. You can be very real and very true to who you are. And I found that to be really, really satisfying too. So the tangible stuff, the working with your hands, building something, and being kind of at ease with yourself and the people that you work with, those are the big pluses for me.
All right. Going along with question number two, question number three is going to be actually the exact opposite. What are the negative effects of working with carpentry?
Well, anything you do, there's always a pro and con. I don't think there's any real dream job that everything is just wonderful, you know. So, the biggest negatives, having to deal with the elements. It's very physical, it's very difficult. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, I like the physicality of it. I like, it helps me to stay in shape. But on the other hand, sometimes I go home and feel kind of beat up. It's a tough day. You're picking up heavy things and you're working in awkward positions. So it's really hard on your body, and that's a piece of it. It can be immensely frustrating. It's complicated. You make mistakes. It's humbling because it doesn't always go the way you want it to go. So that can be a frustration. So there are negatives, obviously. One of the big negatives is the economy. If we happen to go into a recession, the building trades is one of the first areas that feels that recession. So it makes it hard sometimes to make a living in that economy, and that makes it, if you have obligations, you have bills, you have a family, that can be really, really anxious as to where that next paycheck is going to come from. So I mean, those are negatives. They're very real negatives. But as I say, you have to kind of weigh them in context of what you get out of the job. And for me, that the positives outweigh the negatives.
All right. Well, those are some pretty good examples of negative effects. Some of them are a lot more serious too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all hanging by a thread in this economy. The days of companies being totally loyal to their employees and having a 40-year career with one company and then retiring with a gold watch, I mean, those days are done. It's a really, really competitive economy. So in that context, carpentry and construction really isn't all that much different from other industries and jobs that have the same sorts of anxieties, the same sorts of stresses, the same sorts of problems in terms of job continuity. As I say, I think that the pluses outweigh the negatives. When I was talking about negative being how hard it is on your body, I don't do that anymore. I'm at a point in my career where I can use that knowledge base and I apply it to something different. In my case, it's teaching. But it could be anything. It could be sales, it could be estimating, it could be design. There's a lot of opportunities that you can take that knowledge of carpentry and apply it to something that's really not going to be as hard on your body. And don't get me wrong, I never had more fun in my life than I was in my mid-20s and early 30s working on a construction site. It was great. I loved it. I loved the people, I loved the atmosphere, I loved the work. But now I'm at a point in my career where, working at that pace would be difficult for me. So I enjoy teaching. I can still be within the trades, I can still use my knowledge base, and I can apply it to something different. So, carpentry and construction gives you that flexibility in terms of career paths, which is kind of cool. That's positive.
You enjoy it, or?
It was a win. Worked for me. I can say before I found a career path in the trades, I was somewhat dissatisfied and it was kind of aimless. I wasn't really sure. I mean, I did what I needed to do to pay my bills, but the satisfaction wasn't there. So I like it. But it's like anything. It's not for everybody. It works for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was good. All right.